we're whole creatures, we're mind and we're emotion at the same time. There's a head of the heart. That's why the Bible says, love the Lord with all your God, with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and all your strength. All the four assets that you have endowed, it's being made in God's image, are there to love God with, including the mind and including the heart and the soul and the spirit. So where it came for me was the coalescing of that which was intellectual and that which was existential, things that would matter for my existence, the big questions of life. So as a Muslim, I loved and believed in this phrase, Allahu Akbar. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
It's an important phrase. It's got its own name. The name is takbir in Arabic, and it means God is greater. So for me, God was the greatest possible being. And if God is the greatest possible being, well, then he would express the greatest possible virtue. And the greatest possible virtue is obviously love. And he would express it in the greatest possible way. That is illogically so. If God is great, he would express the greatest virtue in the greatest way. If he didn't, then he wouldn't be great anymore. So if God exists and he's the greatest possible being, and he expresses the greatest possible virtue in the greatest possible way, the greatest way to express love is self-sacrifice. And that's exactly what the cross is. The cross is a historical fact that speaks to a philosophical reality of what God would be, and then speaks to a heart issue, is who I wanted him and needed him to be.
Were you processing this before you said yes to follow Christ?
Yeah.
That had to be a huge tension.
Oh, it was huge. Oh my goodness. Tension is a great way to put it. Sort of a mild way to put it, but it was this existential crisis in some senses. Who was I going to be? If I came to believe this stuff and it was so compelling to me, who would I be? But it's interesting. The Bible predicted that too. When Jesus says, that you are to take up your cross daily and follow me, and that we are to die to ourselves, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. That's a hard teaching. And I was confronted with it. And my guess is if anybody's watching this, listening to it, and they are not a Christian, and they're finding the evidence for the faith to be compelling, if they're resisting, my guess is one of those reasons is because there's an existential crisis that prevents you. It's not an evidential crisis. It could be an existential crisis. And that's what it was for me. But here's the kicker. In the end, when I realized that the greatest possible being, who I was hoping was true in my former worldview, was actually true because he expressed the greatest possible virtue in the greatest possible way, historically on that cross and in that empty tomb, then
that's where it happened.
The search completely validated all of the agony. In other words, all the things that I was agonizing over and the agony I would face after were worth it, because whatever cost I was going to pay in becoming a Christian paled in infinite comparison to the cost that he paid so I could be saved. How can I say no to that? How can you say no to that? It's amazing. It's beyond amazing. It's actually, it undoes you. It really does. It's awe-inspiring.